What do you call this dog? Is it Dogmeat? What about CX-404? Or do you simply call her 4? These are all names I've seen people refer to the dog from the Fallout TV show as, but there is a part in the show that I've noticed a lot of people missed that actually gives us a true answer as to what we should be calling this courageous canine, as well as something major that a good portion of the Fallout community missed on their first watch through the series, and potentially even more watch throughs, in regards to Dogmeat's character overall and her true mission, cause yes, she actually was on a mission. We first meet the dog in episode 2, where the Enclave is shown to be experimenting on puppies, selecting the perfect ones and quite literally incinerating the rest, whom are too weak for their liking. The main scientist that we follow, Siggy Wilzig, can be seen forging the numbers for a dog named CX-404, as she doesn't meet the required weight limit to pass incineration. As time goes on, we see Siggy raising CX-404 from pup to adult. You could tell they are already forming quite a strong bond, as when Siggy is ready to go through with his grandmaster plan, CX-404 lunges at a fellow scientist and kills him because she had seen him as a threat to her owner. After this, Siggy took her and together they fled the Commonwealth and headed west, to Los Angeles in search of Moldaver. It is during this journey where CX-404 meets a lot of new friends that she ends up traveling with, and also receives a brand new name that we all have come to love as Fallout fans. She also does something pretty interesting during her journey that most didn't even pick up on during their first watch through. So, how did the story of CX-404 unfold? Well, let's jump right into that, shall we? At night, when Lucy is resting near a makeshift campfire, she is awoken to the growling of CX-404, who moments later attacks and snacks on a radroach. After Siggy and Lucy's conversation, he could be heard saying, which is a nickname given to CX-404, as it's definitely a mouthful to be saying her full name all the time. As time passes, we find Siggy and 4 in the wilds. 4 runs off and retrieves a human hand, and signs of a Yaguai are made quite clear, prompting Siggy and 4 to leave the area immediately. Eventually, Siggy and 4 arrive in the settlement of Philly, where they are set to meet up with Ma June, who has been ordered to aid in the safe delivery of Siggy to Moldaver in the mountains. As we know, things don't go as planned. The ghoul arrives and battles with the town. 4 tries to defend Siggy, but the ghoul, being as cold as the wasteland has shaped him to be, drives a knife right into the side of her and puts her out of commission. When the battling ends and everyone clears out, the ghoul takes 4 into Ma June's shop and saves her life by giving her a well-needed stim pack. She springs back into tip-top shape and energetically follows the ghoul until a nasty run-in with a gulper separates her from him, and he heads out on a side quest with Lucy, essentially switching out companions like you would in the games. But fear not, eventually Maximus and Thaddeus catch up to the location of the item they had been tracking, which is now in the stomach of the gulper, and after retrieving it, they head off with it and 4 by their side. They end up taking a well-needed rest after the wild trip they've all been having so far, but after a fight breaks out between Maximus and Thaddeus, Thaddeus manages to trap Maximus inside of his power armor by removing the fusion core from it, and then takes off with the now severed head of 4's owner Siggy, that everyone in this story has been searching for and fighting over, as well as limping away on a severely broken foot. 4 took this moment to also flee the area, following Thaddeus until he arrived at a Red Rocket gas station. When Thaddeus decides to continue traveling after a short break to inspect his mangled foot, he puts 4 inside of a Nuka-Cola cooler. 4 is now stuck in here, and will certainly die without someone's help. Luckily, the ghoul arrives after following Thaddeus' trail while in search of the head, and frees 4 from her Nuka-Cola prison. He takes her with him again, and they both head out to go search for the head together. We then cut to a flashback of pre-war Cooper Howard, the now ghoul, who can be seen relaxing with his dog at his home on the couch. In a previous pre-war scene, however, it is revealed to us that Coop's wife, who is a higher up at Vault Tech, refused Coop of being able to bring their beloved dog into a vault with them if the world ever got turned upside down. So, with that motivation, Coop starts to realize more and more just how evil Vault Tech are, and he plants a spying device on his wife's Pip-Boy in order to investigate what's really going on during her meetings. After the flashback with Coop and his pre-war pet has ended, we cut back to him and 4 by a campfire. He says,
"I'm sorry, Dogmeat, but you ain't him."
This is it. This is where it becomes official, people. 4 is now Dogmeat. The first of the 2 key moments in today's video that had previously gone over so many people's heads. This is where she gets the name that will stick with her for the rest of the show. Now, since we just did a full recap of Dogmeat's journey so far, and before we take a quick dive back into something that is truly touching about Dogmeat as a character in the show, and what makes her have such a well-written story that many people may have not even paid much attention to, let's just finish up this recap, shall we? There's not much left to go anyway. So, the ghoul and Dogmeat track the head over to the Griffith Observatory. After one of the craziest battles in the history of Fallout so far, Lucy the Ghoul and Dogmeat set out on their new journey, track down Lucy's father, Hank. all with the same goal in mind: answers. Well, obviously not Dogmeat, as she doesn't really need any answers since she's just a dog, but you get the point. Now it's time that we discuss why Dogmeat had such a touching story that many didn't even pay much attention to, or realize on their first watch through the series. The reason why Dogmeat managed to get passed from person to person so often in the story wasn't simply because Dogmeat is a companion that will follow anybody she can and is loyal just because she is, but it is because she had been doing everything she could to stay as close to her original owner as possible. Siggy literally raised her and trained her from basically birth. When she gets separated from Siggy and Philly, she travels with the ghoul since he's already in pursuit of him and uses her tracking skills to locate him. When Siggy's head gets lost inside of the gulper, she doesn't just run off with Lucy and the ghoul, she patiently waits nearby with the hopes that someone will arrive to retrieve her owner's head. After Maximus and Thaddeus travel with her and then have their fight, she decides to stick with Thaddeus since he is now the one in the possession of Siggy's head. Also, look at how aggressive she is when they arrive at the Red Rocket. She wants to see Siggy. Thaddeus even scolds her for it at one point and then ditches her when he feels that she will just be an annoyance to him. When the ghoul and Dogmeat travel together, he uses her as a tracking dog to find the trail of the head so that she can lead him to Moldaver. It's always been about loyalty to Dogmeat across every single Fallout game, but now with the show, we don't just see loyalty, we see the immense love that a dog has for their owner. The writers of the show wanted to depict a perfect example of what makes Dogmeat so great and showed it across every single episode she was featured in. We see that Dogmeat stuck with Siggy until there was no more chance of ever being near him again, even if he was now just a severed head. And now, Dogmeat will set out on a new journey, with new companions of her own to accompany her in the wastes. I'm very interested in seeing how her story unfolds within the next season, as she will now be sticking with people out of loyalty, rather than using them as ways to reunite with her former owner. Also, since she is now going to be traveling with Lucy and the ghoul, Dogmeat might have to make a tough decision of her own if another fight breaks out between the two. Who will she stick with this time? She's been known to follow the ghoul for a good portion of her moments in the show, but as we know, Lucy is the good guy, and Dogmeat might just feel some loyalty towards Lucy due to her potentially showing Dogmeat some love and caring for her in the upcoming second season. So, with all the information we have about Dogmeat in the Fallout TV show, will you still be calling her CX-404, 4, or Dogmeat? What are your predictions for how her story will unfold in Season 2? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.